Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I'm going back in time to my first Android phone. Now, I was originally an iPhone person from about the iPhone 4S all the way up until about the iPhone 7. That was a pretty good chunk of time. I really didn't like Androids at all, but around 2017, the iPhone platform, iOS, just kind of started to bother me, especially because the iCloud and just my account getting locked every 3 days, and Apple saying, well, we don't really know why, it just happens. That account still gets locked out about every 3 days, I just don't use it anymore. So, I've looked at all the different Androids that I've had over the years, and I've had 3 different Google Pixels and a OnePlus phone. Now, the first one that I ever had, which is in a video I made years ago, was the Pixel 2 XL. These days, I'm using the 7 Pro. I also have used the 9. The 9's pretty good. It's more like an iPhone, honestly, as far as like shape and feel. But it's not bad. I really like this sort of like thinner, I don't want to call it like plank. Instead of like, I don't know how to describe it. The iPhone shape where everything, it feels a little thicker, feels a little more compressed. I kind of like this shape that they've had for years. So I started thinking about it. It's like, I wonder if this old 2 XL could still be used today. Now, to get this out of the way, hasn't had a security update since 2020, so I'm kind of limiting to what I use on it. I'm not going to put any sort of like banking apps on it at the moment. There is a thing you can do, and that is throw on Lineage OS, which updates it to a modern Android 14 platform. However, this still has a lot of stuff on it from back in the day, old pictures, old text messages. I'm not going to just wipe this one. I do have a junky old random blue brand iPhone, it's literally called Blue, up there, and I'm going to do that with that one. I'm going to either put Graphene on it or Lineage. That's for another video. So, is it possible to still use this old phone? Let's find out. So we're going to do like a close-up film of the two phones. This is my original case that I had on this back in the day. The rubber on it's kind of done a thing where it became kind of shiny and oily. I did clean it up to where it feels like regular rubber again. However, yeah, it didn't hold up. But what do you expect? The case and the phone are both going on 7 years old. Now here's the new phone with a new case, same brand. The fact that this case held up as good as it did, I've stuck with Spigen everything ever since. This is also a Spigen case on my 7. Now, one thing that I really miss from this phone is the fingerprint on the back. This was an amazing idea that I just wish they would do again, because the fingerprint on the screen on the new one, it's not very good. I will admit it's one of the least reliable fingerprint readers I've used. This one was amazing. It was very reliable. You could unlock the phone, like just as you're picking it up out of your pocket, you could tap this and it would be unlocked by the time it was in front of you. No, there is no facial unlock on this, but I don't think any phones at that time had that, or if they did, it was kind of a new, like a brand new sort of feature. Now this one I am running Nova Launcher. I've always run Nova Launcher. I don't mind the Pixel Launcher, but I just like the customization of Nova. I have Nova Pro on this one. In fact, here we can just unlock it. So you can kind of see my basic shape of phone layout hasn't changed much at all over the years. This one is mostly how I left it, almost exact. I threw these two in the middle. They're both apps that I use for work. So far, everything seems to be working and updatable except for Dialpad, which I don't know if it's just because they don't support Android 11, which is what this is running. When I try to sign in to Google, here I can show you. Oops. It's hard to do this through a camera. So, let's make a call, and then I hit continue with Google, and it just doesn't work. However, I am signed into Google on the Play Store. I am signed into Google on my custom version of YouTube with no information as to, what custom version, and this works very good. Videos load very smoothly. In fact, I even decided to max out what this phone could do. So this is not a 4K phone, never was, but it was a 1440p phone, and this is in fact running, if it didn't change itself, okay, it changed itself again. We're going to put it back into, I hate this menu so much. We're going to put it back onto 1440p, and It runs smooth. You know, it had no problem running 1440p video back in the day. It still has no problem running 1440p video now. Screen still looks amazing on this phone. It is OLED. It's got some really like just vibrant colors on it. So yes, I've got YouTube and all of its features. The camera on this phone was always amazing. Still works great. In fact, a lot of my YouTube videos for about 3 years were filmed on this phone. And these days, I'm running it on an iPad. So one of the other features that I really loved on this phone was the squeeze. So you give it a squeeze, and then it would either activate Assistant, or it'll do something, yeah, Date Assistant. I don't know what that's gonna do. Oh, Data Assistant is what it pulled up. But anyway, yeah, you had a squeeze feature, which I missed. I really, really enjoyed having that back in the day. There's a lot of features that I feel like they've just missed the opportunity to bring back. But anyway, I'm going to continue to use this for the rest of the week. This is Tuesday, as you can see the date on here. Tuesday, December 17th. I've started using this about 4 hours ago. Just charging it most of the way up and just seeing how it would go. I did start at about 90%. After about 4 hours of doing updates, installing the apps I need, and even watching a few YouTube videos on it, it went down about 35%. Now, this phone was used for a solid 3 years plus. So is the battery going to be amazing on this? Probably not. I do remember I always used to run this thing in battery saver, which is right there. I used to always use that because it reduced some of the motion effects, and I used to get almost 2 days out of a charge doing it that way. I wanted to give it a fair shot to see what it would do in regular mode, full power, you know, nothing's being held back. We'll see how this goes. I've already noticed that the speakers on this thing are a little distorted at high volumes. I don't remember if that was the case back then. I don't think it was, but just turning it down a little, it fixes that. No problem. Still sounds decent. So, I'll check in later in the week, maybe Thursday, Friday. Maybe we'll even take it into Saturday. I am interested to see, because this was not a 5G phone, I'm interested to see how this works outside of the house. So I will let you know when we get there. And in fact, I'll probably film it on this phone. So we'll see you then. Alright, so it's now Friday, and I've spent the week with my old Pixel 2 XL. I just switched the SIM back over to my Pixel 7 Pro. And I have to say, this phone did very, very well for being a phone that's almost 7 years old. Battery life was still great. I even filmed a video with it, which I'll show you a clip of it right here. Hello and welcome back to another video, and today I want to talk about some gaming gifts that I would like to receive, but I know we're never going to see. Now these are games that I think, mostly Nintendo, could profit greatly off of, but we're just never going to get them. Honestly, I think the video quality from this phone even beats the iPad that I'm using right now, but that's for a different day. This thing was still a great phone, and it reminded me of a lot of things that I really liked about this, which I already mentioned before, but I loved having the fingerprint sensor on the back. There are times where I could unlock this phone without even looking at it. I've had it in my pocket, unlocked it, and then by the time it was by my face, it was already ready to go. Or let's say, you know, it's out of reach, I unlock it, it's already ready to go. The few things that I didn't care for this, of course, this doesn't have 5G. The 4G still holds up well enough. It had a hard time playing videos in some places I went, but I remember that always being the case with 4G in those areas. But it still was able to do the things I needed, like check my list of games that I own, stuff like that. The only other complaint I had is the speaker quality on this is not as good as I remember. I remember it sounding good back in the day. However, now, it's just alright. It's not unusable, it's not terrible. It just, compared to like Pixel 7 Pro or Pixel 9, both of them sound amazing. Or even this iPad. This iPad has giant speakers in it, so that's really not a fair comparison. But going back to this was kind of just at best, just okay, nothing great. But photo quality wise for the video looks good. It only started a little bit like, yeah, it is old. It's running Android 11. Certain apps didn't like it. There was the one, I never got it to work, but everything else was fine. I didn't transfer every single thing over because I have a lot of two-factor authentication things that are on my current phone. that getting them over here, you have to go through this massive hassle of transferring that stuff. I'm not doing that. So I did kind of carry 2 phones with me, but the other one was literally for Wi-Fi. I work from home, so if I had to do any two-factor authenticating, I had the other phone with me. That was the only thing I used it for. Otherwise, I was using this for all my YouTube videos, all of my web browsing, my Reddit doom scrolling, all that kind of stuff. And it really, I'd say this is very acceptable. If you can get one in good shape, I mean, it's a very powerful phone. I almost wonder if you throw on the Lineage OS or even Graphene OS, this thing would probably be a powerhouse. I will say the case is done. It kind of absorbed hand oils and it's become reflective. This case used to be like a matte black originally. It had like a coating, like a nice grip coating. But I mean, for a case that's been around this many years, the rubber started to go. What do you think? I mean, it's gonna happen. So, case aside, phone is great. Pixel 2 XL still holds up today. Pixel phones are, to me, the best Android phones that are on the market. OnePluses are alright. Sony phones, they can get ridiculously priced, but from what I've seen, they're good. I haven't used one yet. I really want to. Samsungs I won't buy, and everything else I wouldn't even consider. However, I do have this junky blue thing that is absolutely wrecked in every way possible, like the plastic. This is actually one with a removable battery on it, if I can get it to open now. There we go. It's one of those that actually has a removable battery pack. This was from, I believe, TracFone originally. So I'm going to see if I can load up a custom ROM onto this one, whether it be Graphene OS. I think it was going to be Graphene OS. I don't think this thing handles Lineage, but I can check. I wanted to see what can I do to this phone, because I don't know the password to it, but it does come on. The screen looks pretty good for it being cracked in a couple spots, which is shocking. We might do a lot of tests. We might do, can you buff out some scratches on a glass screen? This is going to be all kinds of experiments. So, yes, the Pixel 2 is still good, and I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.